Most people think that retirement means relaxing and winding down. But that mindset is killing people in their retirement years. Today I'm talking health because health is a new passport to everything else in this stage of life, especially if you're dreaming about retiring abroad or just reinventing yourself. Now, our parents' generation thought retirement was golf, TV, rest. But sitting all day, that's the new smoking. Junk food and alcohol, they age you quicker than a calendar ever could. The difference now? We get to design our discovery years not by drifting, but by moving. Walking every day, eating real food, sleeping with intention, building routines, building community. Not just isolating, not scrolling ourselves into depression, traveling, retiring overseas. That's not an escape, it's an evolution. And an evolution needs energy, strength, clear thinking, and purpose. Now remember this, if you don't retire from life, you're training for the next chapter of it. Stay moving, stay curious, stay alive. Because the goal isn't to live longer, it's to live better. Hey, I'm Rob from the Expat Review 2.0. And today, I want to cover something that's very important for anybody in their 60s or 50s that need to hear this. One of the biggest things that you have to focus on going into those retirement years, or if you're already into them, is focusing on your health. And today, I'm going to cover 10 things. 10 things that you need to focus on. Number one, most important thing, whatever you do, is to move daily because motion is medicine. Let me tell you a little bit about my mother. My mother, who is a wonderful woman. She is about to be 81 years old. And guess what? She still works full time. Yes, worked since 16 all the way through. Has worked full time. She is healthy. She is mentally all there. And you want to know what it is? It's because she never stopped moving. And I see this in her. Matter of fact, when I go to move abroad, she's coming with me. Because you know what? She wants to live out a life just like me, and warmth, sun, tropics. And you know what? She's going to keep moving while doing that because that is just her and that's her mindset. And let me tell you, doing those walks, keeping moving, 10,000 steps a day, you know what? It beats 10 pills. All right. Number two, eat real. Eat the local food. Because I'm going to tell you right now, shopping over and abroad, you have the markets and fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh meats, especially in the morning, because you know what? I'm not guaranteeing how fresh they're going to be late in the day. But you know what? As you become more of a local over there, you're going to get used to it. And any time of day will be fine. But starting off, go in the morning, especially for the meats. Look, learn to cook. Cook those whole foods. Stop eating easy TV dinners. Stop eating those ultra processed foods. Because you know what? It's going to help become anti-inflammatory. Because as you get older, let me tell you, things hurt. Things get inflamed a lot easier. Your immune system is a lot less than what it used to be, and you really have to focus on what fuel you put into your body. Now, number three, this is probably going to kick a lot of people between the teeth, but you know what? Get rid of the alcohol. Honest to God. Look, I used to drink regularly, and I'd have to say probably even heavily, especially on the weekends and socially. And you know what I had to do? I had to quit. I've quit totally. Now, look, alcohol, it adds up. It affects your energy, your sleep, your mood, and your long-term health. Look, I know you picture island life with, a margarita in hand and endless rum, red horse. But let me tell you, travel does not excuse self-destruction. And your body, let's face it, does not recover the way it used to. Number 3, structure your day. Upon retiring, you know what? I see it all the time. Initially, they drift. They're not doing very much. They're scrolling news. They're wasting hours. Look, you need routines. You need goals. You need to wake up at the same time. You need to plan your day because you know what? Your routine now is freedom, not restriction. And I know beforehand, you know what? All that meant you did stuff you didn't like. But now you have a new set of rules because you know what? That's your freedom. But you got to make sure that you have structure and you're doing stuff, including your walk and including different things. You got to build that up. Now, a big one, number 5, they're all kind of big. But you know what? Is what I'm recording on right now, your phone. Because social media, yeah, it's great, but especially when you get into your Instagram, your Facebook Reels, those TikToks, you know what? You're just scrolling through, and it's called doom scrolling. And there's a good reason why, because before you know it, 3-4 hours have passed by. And let me tell you something. Especially with those short form videos. What it does is the reason why you're so hooked to them is because each video gives you just that little bit of something in your brain. It's called dopamine. And it keeps dropping dopamine. And we love dopamine. That's why we're so entertained. That's why we keep doing it. But the problem is, all that just in little things ruins our focus, ruins our attention, and ruins our whole everything about us, from our personality to our mood. And if you're doing it before bed, guess what? All that is going to just keep that brain going, and you're not going to get any good sleep. So yeah, look, if you have to delete the apps because it's that bad, do it. Otherwise, you know what? Limit yourself. Set a time frame, set an alarm, because you miss out, and before you know it, you're scrolling well past that time. And definitely do it at least 4 hours before bed. Give your brain a chance to stop all the dopamine hits. Number 6, this is a big one, especially post-COVID. You know what? You got to combat the loneliness. And let's face it, you know what? Health declines when you isolate, in isolation. Now, here in the West, families, swear to God, they don't mean nearly what they do in most other places of the world. You know what? When your kids grow up and everything, your brothers, sisters, all that stuff, even if you're younger and you have your parents and your grandparents, you know what? A lot of people, they only see them once or twice a year, if they're lucky. And you know what? It's during a holiday. Let's face it. When you see them over Thanksgiving, what are you doing? You're rushing over there. You're eating, yada, 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 handshake, hug, goodbye. Got to go to the in-laws. Got to go next. It's endless. And you just don't have any quality time. And you know what? Only seeing them twice a year for a day, it's 363 days without family. Now, facing loneliness, it really affects everything, your personality and stuff, creates depression, and then you know what? Especially now, especially post-COVID, with men 65 and over, suicide has greatly increased. And that really worries me. And I hope And it's one of my things why I feel like there's a lot of people, especially our age, that have not saved up enough, or they don't, they feel like they have to work, or they live on a very limited income. Because let's face it, when you are in retirement, one of your things that, people do is they'll go out for coffee every day with a bunch of their old friends and talk politics, read the paper or whatever, especially over here in the West. And you know what? Now coffee's $4 or $5. You do that every day. How are you going to afford that? And heaven forbid you get a breakfast sandwich. Now all of a sudden you're spending $15 a day. Great if you have the money, but if you don't, and a lot of people aren't even doing it. Even if you have the money, a lot of people aren't doing it. So you know what? You gotta start socializing. You're gonna have to join some clubs. You're gonna have to meet locals, walk with groups, especially overseas. You know what? The more you get that, and let's face it, this is an evolution. This is the next chapter of your life. You know what? Don't isolate yourself. You have the chance for such a better life than you have currently right here. And that leads me into the next thing. Your purpose, okay? Men especially. You gotta have purpose. You gotta have a reason to wake up. You gotta have a reason to go get it. And you know what? When people lose their work identity, they tend to drift and they founder. Don't overthink purpose either, because you know what? Your life is your purpose. Health, relationships, hobbies, serving others. You know what? Your purpose can be simple. Move, grow, connect, give back. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that purpose is going to give you that drive, and it's going to make your life a bit more interesting and a bit more feeling good about the whole thing. Next thing, none of that will matter if you're not getting good sleep. And sleep is so important. And poor sleep, it cascades into low energy, poor diet, inactivity, and just overall decline. Now look, late night is optional, but I'm just going to say, rest, it's mandatory. So yeah, exert yourself, but rest yourself. All right, next one. Ignore the other people, and especially when you are about to get retired. Because what's the number one thing they say when they see you outside working? And this is like if you're in the West. Oh, you know what? Why don't you just sit down? Why don't you rest? Why don't you give it easy? No, because you know what? You're doing too much. No, that's not it. You are being structured in your retirement. And you know what? Being intentional, it's what's keeping you alive and healthy. Because taking it easy is not really going to help you out at all. If you don't use it, you lose it. There's a reason why they say that. Retirement isn't the finish line. It's the start of a new phase. And that new phase is to live your retirement with that purpose and energy. Number 10, it's just pretty much a summation, I guess you'd have to say. You know what? Your discovery years that I talked about in the beginning, that's what this whole thing is. It's not an end to a journey. It's a new chapter. Discovery years. You know what? It requires energy. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people that have retired and they just start to decline after they become sitting back and just, you know, looking to quote unquote enjoy that retirement. But they don't do much. And look, especially when you're planning your retirement and going abroad, you're really discovering you have so much. There's a new culture. all the different things, the waterfalls, the beaches, places to explore, places to hike. You know what? Be healthy for that. Enjoy that. Experience that. There's so much that we have on this earth that you didn't really have time to. Now you do. And it gives you that curiosity. And that curiosity, as long as you're fit to, explore and not be tired on the sofa watching other people live on the TV. YouTube, watching this right now. Get out, go do something. Enjoy staying alive by living fully. All right, that's all I'm going to cover today. But yeah, with your health, and especially in your 60s, don't do those things that are going to put you in the grave. All right? Hey, like and subscribe. If you've lasted this long, God bless you. Let's write down in the comments below. What else? What are your experiences with this? Yeah, I'm sure you got stories to tell. I'm sure you got other subjects that you'd like to talk about. I'd love to talk about it with you. All right. Keep it real. Talk to you real soon. Take care. Bye.